I just finished replacing the fuel pumps, the low pressure and high pressure, on my 5.0 in this 1996 Four Winds 190 Horizon. So the years I think are from 94 to 99 that this would apply to. All I could find online for videos was a one-piece fuel cell that had both fuel pumps in one system, and could not find any videos on this, so I thought I'd do a video to help everybody out. What I had was no fuel pressure on the low pressure fuel pump, and it was causing hard starts. Sometimes it wouldn't start at all, and it just got worse and worse, and finally I needed to do it, so I made a video on how to do it. If this is a style motor that you have, then this video is for you. This is a 1996 VolvoPenta with a 5.0 fuel injection. We have the low pressure fuel pump here, and then if you go to the back of the engine, you have the high pressure fuel pump with the reservoir, and then it goes over to the fuel regulator. That's what I'm working on today. When using this type of fuel pressure gauge, check your adapter fitting, especially for this Ford motor. It needs to have that Schrader valve in it on the right side. The right side's a good one, the left side's a bad one. The Schrader valve fell out of it with the O-ring, and you'll have a zero pressure reading if you use that one. Since I had a problem with my original fuel pressure gauge with the Schrader valve missing in it, I ended up going to Amazon and purchasing this adapter here. This will adapt to the Ford and then adapt to the end of the fuel pressure tester. It's a little more convenient because it's like a 4-inch hose that you can access these things easier. Like this one I have on there right now. I can access that one a little bit easier there next to the distributor. All right, the boat has been sitting for about a week, so I'm gonna test the high pressure and the low pressure. Low pressure is connected over here to on the reservoir tank before the high pressure pump. The high pressure is connected on the fuel rail. All right, I'm gonna turn the key on and see what we got for the first pump up. All right, that's one. Let's do another. And another. And another. And one more. So we got up to about 40 psi with the high pressure fuel pump only, because this reservoir has gas in it still, and it pumped it up into this high pressure fuel pump. The low pressure fuel pump is not working at all, so that's my issue. So I purchased a kit, and it has both the low pressure and the high pressure fuel pumps. I'm gonna put those in and show you what I got to do it. When you're searching for part numbers for your boat, you need to go up under here and find these tags right here. This will show your engine, your outer drive, and the transom and all that. Look up those part numbers there, and you should be able to find the proper parts. Now, on this particular boat, I had to look under as a OMC. I found this kit from Quantum Fuel Systems. They had a kit that supplied both the high pressure and the low pressure, and here's the part number for it. So they give you the high and the low pressure fuel pumps. In this kit, the 705 one is the low pressure, and the 704 is the high pressure. You can also tell by the brass in the black there. They also come with the adapter fittings here with the O-rings. First thing I need to do is relieve the pressure on the system. There was no pressure on this low pressure side, but there is on the high pressure side, and luckily this has this little button here. Always have a rag handy, and then maybe a fire extinguisher. Not maybe, must have a fire extinguisher. The button was really hard to push. It must have been just corroded up a little bit. But there, I got zero pressure on it now. Before we start disassembly, we need to disconnect the negative side of the battery. I'll have to get a wrench for this. To get the fuel pump connector off, I just stuck a small screwdriver down this side and down on this side to get that little wire off of it. Now I need to get the incoming fuel line off. I already loosened this. I just need to pull it off. I'll pull it off camera. I'm going to remove the top fuel line using a 20 millimeter holding that piece and a 1/2 inch on this fitting here. There's going to be some gas that'll come out of there. There, that's loose. Now I'm using a 14 millimeter to get this bolt and this bolt off. You can get to it through the back here. I'll get those out off camera too. Undoing these 2 bolts allow me to separate the electrical part of it with the pump, but what I should have done is taken this fitting off first. I forgot to do that. I'll do that next. So there's a jam nut you need to loosen here, this nut, and then you can unscrew this. Now this will allow me to remove this piece, put that to the side. I can take this piece out now, work on it. So I already took the fuel filter off. It was kind of nasty. We're going to use a 15/16 and a 13/16 and break these apart here. There we go. Take the old O-ring off. Get a pick and got that one off. It's still in decent shape after 30 years. Yeah. Instead of using this piece, I'm just gonna leave this one on here and put the new O-ring on. Just gonna take a little motor oil and dab it on the O-ring before I slide it on. Get it all the way down to the bottom there. This pump, I thought it was going to be all clogged up with stuff in the screen, but it looks pretty open. Let's put the new pump on. There we go. I need to get this O-ring off of this adapter here. And I'll put the new one on. A little bit of oil around it. It's all the way up into the next to that washer type thing. I'm going to take the old relay out before I do anything else. Note the position of it. It's going to go in that way. Here's the new one. However, I'm going to clean it pretty good. And then take some dielectric grease and put back over the holes. Just for the hell of it. You don't have to do this, but I do it. and put the new relay in. There we go. And now we can put this thing back together. All right, let's take this assembly, put it back together. Right there. Push that up through the hole, that grommet. Get the 2 bolts started. Might have to use a magnet on this one. Maybe I can get it with my fingers. There we go. Okay. Try to get these started back in the hole over here. That one started. Oh, come on, screw, get in the hole. There we go. Alright, for this piece we already got the O-ring on. There's a little washer. Then this nut, we're going to tighten that down on there after we get it in. First we're going to spin it down and around. Until it stops. And back off. Then put this pipe in. I'm going to get that started. 1/2-inch wrench. That's just snugged up for now. And then this nut underneath, this is a 14, I think, 14. Or no, that's not a 14. It's a, that was a 1/2, sorry. We're going to snug it down, and then we're going to put a torque wrench on it. Here I got a crow's feet torque wrench. Of course I can't get to that angle. Dipstick's going to be in the way. There it goes. It's around 70 inch-pounds. That's about 50. Let's get on there more. That's about 75 right there. Okay. That'll work. I'll have to look up the spec on this one. I just looked in the book for a torque spec for this fuel line, and it says just tighten it securely. There is no torque spec, so that should be good enough. In this particular boat, you have to pull up the floor right here. These, what we got, 6, 7 screws. Pull up the floor to access your gas tank. And here's your gas tank. Back here in the back of the tank, I had to cut the hose off to get it off. I'm gonna pull that siphon tube out to see if it's clogged up or anything. It looks kind of corroded. So I've unscrewed the pickup tube. I just need to pull it out. Might be kind of difficult because there's a roof right over here, and I don't want to take the whole gas tank out. So I'm gonna try to get this out of here. So I just had to bend it, keep bending it right here to pull it out. Well, I got it out, and it appears I don't have a filter screen at the bottom of mine. So hopefully there wasn't one on there and it fell in, but it appears that I don't have one. On my pickup tube, I checked out the anti-siphoning valve, and it looks like it's just corroded. It's no good anymore, so I ordered another one. Should be here tomorrow. Just going to do a quick inspection of the gas tank with my endoscope. There it shows the fuel sender, and it doesn't look too bad in there. I'll look around a little bit more, see if see a bunch of dirt or anything. If there is, then maybe I'll flush this thing out, but it looks good for right now. All right, now I'm looking straight down on the gas. It's a reflection of the gas in the tank. Up the top side of the fuel sender. I'll shake the boat a little bit so we can see the gas move. Yep, it's right there. I'm right next to the gas. It's going up and down. It's kind of neat. It's hard to tell if the tank is dirty or not. I can't really tell. Pull it out further. Looks pretty good to me. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to replace the fuel line and the anti-siphon valve. I'll pick up some new fuel line. I'm going to put that in now. Well, I received the new anti-siphon valve today, and it came in a 2-pack, and it was like, it's just a little over $8. But here's the new one versus the old one. Of course, it's got a little ball in there with a spring. And the old one is just ate up and gone. So I'll put that back in. All right, that fitting is installed and finished now. First, cut the tie wrap here for this connector on this side. I stuck a screwdriver on this side and on the other side, and then pulled that off. Put those out of the way. I'm going to pull this hose off to get it out of the way so I can get to this. Take a 1/2-inch wrench and undo this fuel line. There's a little bit of gas coming out, so I need to find my rag. Now I'm going to loosen this nut here. I'm going to use this wrench to push the fuel line down and then turn this so we can get it out. I don't want to mess up that fuel line. Let's go back. Push it down some more. There we go. I just didn't get it out far enough. Now I can unscrew this. I think it'll be easier by removing this fuel line here and moving that out of the way so I can get to these wrenches easier, and bolts easier. There we go, now I can get on it. This. You don't care about the O-ring getting it off, but when you put this back on, you want to make sure you don't mess up that O-ring. Alright, let's see if I can unscrew it. There we go. There's that O-ring. All right. Grab that O-ring, pull this out. This piece was in here. It actually has two O-rings, one here and one here. They only give you one O-ring, so that one's going to go here. This one looks like it's still okay. If it leaks, then I'll take it back off and then buy an O-ring for it. So we'll put that back. So I found, you put this bolt back in, it's got the O-ring already on it on the other end. It's easier to put the O-ring on after. Okay, so I removed this screw here and loosened this one here to put this bracket out of the way. Now I'm going to take the high pressure fuel pump and screw it on. My hand's in the way, sorry. So I had to get one of my thin wrenches that I bought and use it here. I think the spec on this was 20 foot-pounds. Feels about right. Now I'll try to slide that over that. Put the screws back in. I have to get my other screwdriver, I think. It's in a touchy spot. I don't want to drop that screw down in the engine compartment. Now it's time to get this O-ring off of this one. I put the new one on. Put a little engine oil on it. Rub it in on it. Alright, now we can screw that back on. I'm going to have to hold this out of the way. Push that fuel line down so I can get this screwed back on. Come on, start already. Come on. There we go. Scoot all the way down until it touches and then back off to get to the fuel line. Put the fuel line back in. Now screw that in and then we'll tighten this nut down. Putting this fitting on right here was the hardest part of this whole job, trying to get it to line back up again, but I got it on there. Now I need to torque this nut down to 75 inch-pounds. And I'm going to get it to about right there. And then ready to test as soon as I get that part from Amazon. Oh, almost forgot to hook this back up, the vacuum hose, and then hook this back up. And then I'll re-tie wrap that. Alright, well, I got my new water separator filter. It's full of fuel, and I put oil around the O-ring. Now I just got to put that in. I'm also going to take a syringe of gasoline and fill up this hose to help protect the pump before I put this hose back on. Alright, now for the test. I've got the battery hooked back up. We're going to test for pressures and look for leaks. Here's one key. Okay. 2, 3. Still nothing on the low pump side. So after starting the engine, I could then see that I had pressure on the low pressure side. It's around 8 psi, or around 36 or so on the high pressure side. So it's all good now. Now just check for leaks in various places. Of course, there's not going to be anything there. Nothing under there. Nothing back here. Nope. Nothing here on this one. Nope.